Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. Let's talk about our Anatolian friends. In recent weeks I have done a lot of research on Turkey, and today in a first video on this very interesting and fascinating country I want to talk about the economic problems and the additional problems that the current health crisis, the pandemic, has brought on Turkey. I have been reading a lot over recent months, and I wanted to make a video already at the end of last year and early this year about more long-term structural problems of the country, but now this has happened. And I think I want to start with the more recent problems that, let's be honest, none of us could have predicted. Tourism is an integral part, an integral sector of the Turkish economy, and in the record year of 2019, 51 million foreign tourists came to Turkey. As you can imagine, this year this number is very low. That and the current weakness of the Turkish manufacturing sector due to the lockdowns that the country imposed led to a deficit of around $5.6 billion for the month of April alone for Turkey. So today I want to talk in a little more detail about the reasons for this situation and also give an outlook, especially on what this means for the political situation in Turkey. But before we start, allow me to thank my supporters and my subscribers. If you like this kind of material, like, share and subscribe, and consider making a donation via PayPal or supporting me on Patreon or Subscribestar. So let's give you guys a little bit of background. Turkey didn't have a great year in 2019. Actually, they had a recession. We talk about a recession when in a country the GDP has negative growth or shrinks in 2 consecutive quarters at least. And we had 3 of those from 2018 until last year. Turkish GDP was just on the way of recovery when the current crisis hit. And just when it was getting warmer and the country would normally have prepared for many tourists to enter the country and bring with them the much desired foreign currencies, that is when infection numbers went up and the borders were closed. International travel came to a halt, tourism was shut down, resulting in closed 5-star hotels and empty beaches, a catastrophe for the coastal regions as well as popular tourist destinations all over the country. You might know that Turkey is famous for its beautiful beaches, but also for its historical sites. The people who are currently in power in the area have only arrived relatively recently in history. Anatolia or Asia Minor is an area that has a rich history and therefore many sites from various ancient cultures. By country of origin, the tourists in Turkey are mainly coming from the Middle East and from European countries, but also some from the United States. As you probably know, the European Union has mostly lifted travel restrictions and travel warnings within Europe. However, a travel warning for Turkey still exists, and that means that less tourists will be coming from Europe. This travel warning doesn't mean that it's impossible to fly to Turkey, for example, but it just means that when the tourists will return to Germany, for example, they have to stay 14 days in quarantine. And also, if flights get cancelled again, then they are stuck there, and this time the government will not get them out of there. And these prospects scare off a lot of potential visitors, of course. They will probably go on vacation in Germany, or they will go to France, Spain, Italy or Greece or even Portugal if they want to spend time at a Mediterranean beach. This angered the Turkish government so much that they demand Germany to send tourists. The official version is that Germany doesn't trust that the Turks got their China bug problem under control. Officially, they are reporting still around 20,000 active cases versus a little over 7,000 active cases in Germany. The size of the population in both countries is very comparable. I suspect, however, that there is a different reason for why Europe is hesitant to remove its travel warning for Turkey. In addition to them not trusting the official numbers there, it might also be that this health crisis is just seen as an excuse so that they don't have to say what the actual reason is. And I suspect that they don't think that the political situation is very stable and very safe at the moment for travelers in Turkey. Turkey has seen a lot of economic hardship in the last year. The Turkish lira has lost a lot of its value towards the euro and the dollar in a time when the country has more and more foreign debt. And no matter where you look at the moment, you see a lot of conflict and a lot of potential problems in the country. There is ethnic conflict, especially in the east. There is intergenerational conflict. And also the labor unions in Turkey are not satisfied with the current situation as they fight with the government over a change in legislation concerning severance payments, which would allow employers to hire and fire staff more easily. And that comes at a time when the Turkish state is starting to dominate and to control the Turkish economy more and more. We can see that the country's leadership is growing more thin-skinned as they suspect a foreign conspiracy behind all sorts of issues. Dissident voices from the opposition as well as journalists are persecuted and sometimes even incarcerated. Also, about 60 Germans are said to be imprisoned for political reasons in Turkey at the moment. I don't know if I can trust polls from Turkey, but apparently the AKP, Mr. Erdogan's party, and their coalition partner together, according to the polls at least, they do not have a majority at the moment anymore. This just makes them more desperate for an economic recovery and for revenue from the tourism sector. I mentioned already that foreign currency is extremely important for Turkey at the moment, and I will talk about that a little more in detail in an upcoming video. For some time earlier this year, it almost looked like Turkey could not pay back its foreign debt, and international commentators and the markets were responding. They seem to have lost trust more and more in the economic strength of Turkey and their ability to keep up with interest payments. As I mentioned already, the government gets more and more autocratic, and in addition to the foreign tourists, actually also and especially people with Turkish roots in Europe are more and more hesitant to go on a vacation trip to the old country. The Turkish state is employing a huge web of spies and informants all around Europe who monitor the population of Turkish origin there very closely. Many people are afraid that upon arrival at the airport, they will be expected by police and they leave the airport in handcuffs actually. Another symptom for the sense of instability and the fear that the government has of losing its power. And once again, it might have been these reasons and not the current health crisis that led Volkswagen, for example, to abandon their plans for a major auto plant in Turkey. This plant would have brought 4,000 high-wage jobs to the region of Izmir, but now Volkswagen abandoned this plan. So I think there are a lot of things coming together at the moment for Turkey, and that makes a lot of people skeptical and feel uneasy about the stability in the country. The overall sentiment is that the government cannot be trusted and that they're becoming more and more totalitarian and unpredictable. On the economic side, the country has lost a lot of trust from foreign investors that are very, very important for the country. And investors as well as producers are rethinking their plans of being engaged in the region, which just hurts the country even more. So I'm gonna be honest, Turkey, even though it is very beautiful and I'm sure you will have gorgeous beaches and a lot of sunshine there this year, but it is honestly the last place I would wanna be this year. After reading a lot, and please check the links in the first comment down below, I more and more get the impression that stability is not very high in the country. The political situation is volatile. It is definitely not a safe country if even people who are originally from there do not want to go there this year, out of fear of getting in trouble with the authorities or just vanishing in some prison. Also, I have to say, as a European, we have our own problems, and this summer, this year, a lot of countries have been hit economically and otherwise, and I think as Europeans we should show solidarity first and foremost with our own member states, with our own European brothers and sisters. I think this is just understandable. This is what every family would do. And I frankly cannot understand how the Turkish government can get angry at that, as if we owe them somehow to send tourists there, as if we could do that at the push of a button anyway. So I am sure that in the future, if they reassure us that the rule of law and the security and safety of travelers will be respected and protected, then in the future I'm sure European tourists will be coming to Turkey again. But this year I am highly skeptical. So if the young people, if the working class, if the middle class is getting angry, or if they are no longer satisfied with the situation in the country, as people are losing their jobs and their money and their savings are vanishing in front of their eyes, the situation could become very volatile very quickly this summer. On the surface, it still looks very safe. I mean, compared to the United States, I think every country is probably pretty safe at the moment. But I'm just saying these factors could lead to a rapid change in the situation. Of course, we don't know that for certain yet, but that is a gamble that I would not want to take, and many other people also don't want to jeopardize the safety of their family by going there right now. So please also check out my upcoming videos about the currency crisis in Turkey, as well as on the underlying long-term economical problems of the country. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comments down below, and enjoy the rest of your day. Servus, Kameraden.